A very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Praise Talk Show. Well, as you can see, Pastor Praise is very, very excited this afternoon.
I am indeed.
Is it about...
Because the joy of the Lord is my strength.
The joy of the Lord is your strength.
Yes.
God has been good to you.
You know what the Bible says? It says that He would anoint your head with the oil of joy above your pears.
Okay.
Yes. So I've been
So
anointed with the oil of joy.
anointed with oil.
My head, not my hair.
Well, your hair.
Are you trying to be sarcastic now about my hair? This is not my
I'm
hair.
not.
I need it on my head because I take this off and it gets washed and it gets put back on.
That's too much information, all right?
Well, ladies, you know what I'm saying now.
Whether you take it off or
If
whether
it's
still your hair, isn't it?
You want no. It's
you
not,
paid for it.
No, it's an attachment. As long as it's not from the
but
root.
But you paid for it.
As long as it's not from the root, then it's not your hair, ladies.
I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to save you. She paid for it, so it's her hair. But
welcome again. Welcome. It's a pleasure to be in your home this Saturday afternoon. I mean, my guest is just like, what is going on here today? He's never seen this before, but hey, you know, we're having a good time and we hope that you're enjoying us as well.
Most definitely.
Yes, indeed. And we have two guests that we'll be bringing your way this afternoon.
We've been watching their videos here. You've probably heard their music. These are some of the most exciting, most anointed musicians to come out of Africa, and specifically from Ghana. And you know, I feel quite privileged that we have them here on the show this afternoon. They just happen to be in London doing ministry. They've been blowing the city of Reading apart, but they're here in London today. And we'll be having a chat with gospel artist, producer Koda, as well as worship leader, songwriter, singer, and well, everything else. He'll tell us a lot more. He goes by the name of Joe Metal. Two very, very talented musicians. They'll be on here. But you know what? Should we take a break?
You can take a break, but you can also watch
quick video break.
Yes, you can also watch us on www.faithworldtv.com and invite your friends around the world to join us.
And if you're on YouTube as well, just type as Praise Talk Show.
Praise Talk Show. You can watch previous interviews that we have done, and we make it a part of duty to bring something new your way on that channel as well.
So, listen, how about we check out a video by our next guest. This is a song that we all know, Here I Am to Worship, but he's giving it a different twist. Well, don't let me talk, just listen to the music or watch the music and listen to it as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Invite you to our monthly program titled Hour of Deliverance. Every second Saturday of every month, time 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Ministering Pastor Julius Hayday-Willay. Come and experience your breakthrough, deliverance, and total freedom. Also, join us for our regular services. Every Sunday for our family worship service at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Every Monday morning, Destiny on Fire, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Every Wednesday for our Holy Ghost service at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday for Hour of Favor from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Venue, LCCM House, Kemp Road, Chadwell Health, Dagenham, Essex, RM81ST. For further details or appointments for counseling, please call 0208 597-6770, 0793 956 5981. Your appointed time has come.
Exclusive event hire services, adding class to your events. We offer a one-stop service to all our clients. Our team is formed of the best of the event industry. It would be our pleasure to put our extensive experience and expertise to work for you. We manage and plan weddings, birthdays, christenings, anniversaries, celebration, parties, team building events, and many more. Today for a quotation on 0207 064 9929 or 07540 254 342 or 07956 821 246 or visit us on our website at www.eehireservices.co.uk.
say, oh, 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 oh. Help me say, oh. One more time, say, oh. First verse says, light of the world, you step down into darkness. Yes, you did. You open my eyes. You let me see. Oh, beauty that made this my heart adore you. Oh, 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 of a life spent with you. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. One more time, I say, ooh, light of the world. You step down into darkness. You open my eyes, you let me see. Oh,
You are welcome back.
So you've just seen the man himself, Mr. Kofi Duah-Amptuo, aka Koda. That's what everybody calls him. And I think, to be honest with you, it's easier, isn't it?
It's easier.
It's
For me.
much more easier, for you especially. Yes. His name is Koda, and like I said before, very talented musician, producer as well. We just saw a song, his rendition of a very popular worship song that we all do in church. But as you can see, the man has a way with music. And this afternoon, Auntie Praise, can we please welcome?
Welcome to Praise Talk Show.
thank you very much, Uncle Sam.
Welcome, welcome.
It's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to...
At long last, I tell you what, this man is so difficult to get hold of. He is so difficult to get hold of.
When you've made it in the industry or in the ministry, you would be very difficult to get hold of. Yes. You see, I once heard Bishop T.J. saying to another man of God that you do not make demands until you are on demand.
You're in demand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're in demand, yes, then you can make demands.
But listen, so we've seen Koda. Koda's done work with some of the great artists out of Ghana. We're talking about the likes of the Papa of contemporary gospel music in Ghana himself, Minister Danny Nete, who we had here on the show
last week. Yes.
No, that was Neil Kyle's last week. Danny was before.
Oh yes, okay.
You've done some stuff with Neil Kyle as well. You've done stuff with Pastor Helen Yorsin, Kwesi Oteng. List goes on and on. I mean, we can, Ohima Mercy as well. You've done stuff with Ohima Mercy. Tell us a little bit about Koda. Who Koda is.
Okay. I would say that I was born, I don't mind people knowing my age. I was born close to 36 years ago.
Okay.
And then spent my whole life in church, I'll be frank. I was in a Baptist church at that time in a city called Takoradi in Ghana.
The Oil City. Used to be a harbour city, but now I know
still is. Still is. And so I think the church needed fresh crop of instrumentalists, so the offer was thrown out there. And then my mom enrolled me to do that. So I remember the man of God so very well. He looked at me and said that, hey, this chubby little boy, what does he want to learn? And I said, anything. Then he placed his hands over me and said that he prays that God gives me a double portion of what he has. Wow. And he's a multi-instrumentalist and a pastor. And that's exactly what I ended up becoming.
Wow.
Yes, and from there, so I did a little bit of classical piano. I didn't love it at the time. it's ironical. I'm doing a lot of classical stuff now for people, with strings and all those things. But at the time, it didn't make sense because you go to school and they say that, oh, Kofi, we're having speech day. And then somebody picks up a song and then you can't play accompaniment because you don't have the music script to it. So I said I wanted music that was relevant for the moment, not for the books. So I digressed into learn by ear too, and then I did a little drums, did guitar, did bass, and then production came in along the line, somewhere in there. I'm talking too much.
No.
We're
That's
listening.
wonderful. We are listening. I think the conversation we had earlier, you see, has caused us to now listen to what you were saying than talking in between or interrupting you.
I know.
Yes.
We're listening.
But it's very rare that you find musicians who can play by hearing and also
By
can
sight,
read.
yeah.
It's very rare. So it's that direction of going off the classical music and getting to learn that skill is an addition
it really
to
helps.
it
I think it's
really makes a lot of
affected my
difference.
music. I'll be the first to say my music is weird. I wouldn't wait for that to come from somebody else. It's neither very African nor contemporary nor classical nor
It's a fusion.
It's a fusion of everything.
Of
I mean, the song
everything.
you spoke about when we were talking before in Sempi, it has a typical African rhythm, but the intro is classical.
Wow.
Strings.
Okay.
And then I'm singing in English, but the instrumentation is way very local.
Well, when he talks about local, at praise you might not understand it. Local is like local, which
Village local.
village local.
Okay.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah, he's right.
Village local.
Yeah, I know.
No,
Do you
because
know what?
I'm saying this because it was the kind of music that, it wasn't. Go back in Ghana a few years, it was the kind of music that wasn't.
Embraced.
It was
Appreciated.
But not in church.
but not in church. Okay, that's exactly.
Okay,
where I
it was not
coming from.
okay. It was not a
something that-
typical church music.
Tell us this, because
I always say this when you bring up statements like this. Who created the church music? So
this is a
that's
topic
that's
dear
the
to your
thing I
heart.
always
One of these days, we're
say.
gonna
So
do
when
that.
you say it wasn't something that was in the church, but if those people, if you don't have people from the villages, if per se, or it's nothing wrong with the people in the villages anyway, but if you don't have the natives of the land coming to church, then it's quite obvious that the music would not be in the church. Isn't it?
Yeah,
No, but
you're
at least we thank God that we're moving on and we can embrace all these things and, obviously put scripture to them and
Exactly.
stuff like that. Because I remember I was talking to Mike Abdul as well, and he does a lot of Fuji music.
Great.
And that, is kind of street music in Nigeria, but he's managed some way, somehow, to kind of fuse that into gospel, and that's all great.
And I love what Flo River.
Flo does some
I love that
awesome
man
stuff
to
as
bits.
well.
I haven't met him yet, but I love him to bits. I like the way he also picks up on. You can see his influences are also funny.
Yeah.
He's neither too local nor contemporary. He's somewhere in between.
Music is music.
I know.
Music is, there's nothing.
music.
There's nothing local about
I
it.
know.
There's nothing mainstream about it. It's just that.
But sometimes
a lot
the
of
markets
times,
can pin you down.
well,
if
that's
you're not
what it
careful.
is because they have the money power to drive it.
Yeah, I know.
And so the people that are in a certain sector do not have the money to drive or market that music. That's why we probably haven't heard about it, or that's why it's not in the mainstream.
Yeah,
That's
I
all
agree
it
with you
is.
perfectly.
Marketing makes a lot of difference.
Tell me about this though, because we're talking about different types of music, and one of the things that you're famed for, and which you yourself has touched on, is the fact that you have the ability to take music out of a box, of a particular box. And when we talk about contemporary gospel music, you're one of the main guys who is actually pushing that, if I can call it a movement. Has there been any kind of resistance to that? Have you come against any resistance?
Oh yes.
And why do you think that is?
It's funny I sighed, but I would say that a friend of mine, pastor, cracked this joke. It's a joke, but probably he was serious. He said, "What has worked before will work again, so why try the new?"
So there's no need to reinvent the wheel.
I mean, you have a particular genre of music, and it's doing well on the market. It's bringing back the coins. Not coins, I mean, it's bringing back all the money. And so why would you as a producer want to try something that is now coming up, or something that hasn't gained roots yet? But to be very frank with you, no offense to any of the other clients out there, but I'm trusting God to take me to the very pinnacle of production. By God's grace, I've been able to work with a few of the top producers in the US, and they love what, by God's grace, we are doing with what we're doing in Africa, you get me? So I don't think I want to be pinned down to what pertains in Ghana or what pertains in Africa. I want to be...
You don't want to be a local champion, so to speak.
No. And that's why I'm working, by God's grace, with some of the producers in the US. I mean, who won't cut you?
You've talked about some of the producers in the US. Is there any chance we can squeeze a name out of you?
There's one drummer I work with that works with the likes of Kevin Bond, with TD Jakes. You know You're God Alone by Marvin Sapp?
Yes.
The gentleman who's playing the drums in there.
Okay.
He is the thing. And I'm working with Jeremy on I've worked with him on 2 productions. And Uncle Jay will give it to you. He's blunt. And I need people like that if I want to take my music to the next level. He ask you that well, it's not working, boy.
That's it. And that's where you as a minstrel need to be open to such kind of feedback, so that it would sharpen you, for the market.
There's a particular talking about doing things outside the box. There's a song that you've done within the last year, which kind of courted a bit of controversy. It's a song called Insempi, which Insempi simply means issues.
Lots of issues.
Lots of issues, not just issues, but lots of issues. And it talks. We'll watch a video. We'll watch that video. Actually, is a video called Insempi. And what actually prompted you
to record a song?
To record a song which talks about issues within the church, talks about exploitation within the church, talks about all the things that some of us are scared to actually voice out, or even even mention in a conversation. And you've done a song which is like a permanent imprint of these issues.
I know. I mean, people that know me very well were very surprised when they said Kofi. I mean, that guy so reserved, he doesn't want any trouble in it. But I'll tell you where it came from.
It's funny you should say Kofi, because usually when somebody is in trouble, then they normally mention your full name, isn't it?
Yeah.
So people who would call you Koda would then say Kofi.
Let me call you by your real name.
I mean, my mom heard the thing, and then she threw her hands when she says,
"Oh, my son."
But I'll tell you where it came from. My dad is one of my role models when it comes to Christianity. But he's a reason why sometimes I don't flow with the norm. He's a true Christian. My dad is. And so he loves to study the Bible a lot. And I picked up something from him. He picks a book from the Bible and will do extensive research into. He has this Bible, concordance, everything you want is in the library. So I picked the book of Acts. And I was just reading through it. Pastor, I read through chapter 1. And then I did chapter 2. Chapter 3. By chapter 4, I said, something is not right. If we are supposed to be coming out of this church, then ours doesn't look like theirs. So many things from ours was not like what the first church looked at. And it just slipped out of my mouth that things are really not the same.
Things are not the same anymore.
You get a thing. That's where the whole song came from. And I love one man of God. I had lunch by God's grace with him yesterday. He came to my church back in Takrady, and he made a statement. I know that taking of monies and things, sometimes it's for building the kingdom and for whatever costing has gone into the events and things like that. But I like what the man of God did when he came to my church. He said, God hasn't said to me that any 100 persons should come and pick 100 envelopes. God hasn't said anything like that. I picked the envelopes because I have used up all your church finance and we need to put it back. And I love that.
That is
honestly. Shroud it in. So the song talks about issues like I've been in one service where they were levying every person in the church with X amount because they needed to buy the pastor his dream car. That was a Benz at that time. And I talked to one church member like that who genuinely didn't have the thing. So he decided that he would not be in service that day.
Wow.
Because he doesn't have. So he talks about musicians and the fact that we want to sing the popular things that will get us
change the content
awards
to make you popular.
I mean, I was there with you. Haven't met Pastor Joe Bisham yet, have you?
I have met.
Oh, you have met him. I recorded an album with Pastor Joe, and then I'm at home, and Pastor Joe gives me a call and goes like, "Kofi, we need to go back to the studio." And I was so scared. I said, "Oh, did I make a mistake with something?" And then he calls me back and goes like, "The producer wants a change of lyrics. He says the words are not melancholic enough. We need to sing more lamentations, about."
Is this for the UK?
No, it was for Ghana.
Okay. Now the reason why I'm asking you
Yeah, tell
is
me.
because I had a friend of mine, bless his soul, he's passed away.
Okay.
He says in order for your music to make it in the UK, it either has to be very sad.
Okay.
Yeah, or
Really here too?
yeah. So
I'm really surprised.
but music, this is what I'm saying, that music cuts across whether I understand or I don't understand what you're singing.
Okay.
The combination of instruments and
Okay.
it cuts across, and it says you
Okay.
either have to do something really, really crazy
Okay.
or something extremely sad. You kind of do, if you do serious music,
Okay.
then people wouldn't buy into it. I don't know, for whatever
wow.
reason.
But that's interesting bit of information.
Yes.
there.
We've been talking about this song, which kind of, I love it.
Okay.
Because, the song kind of brings memories to me. Because I remember when I was growing up,
Okay.
then in Ghana.
You had lots of issues, right?
I didn't have issues. No,
Be
thank
sweet.
you. I didn't. But we used to, let me just give you a bit of history. We used to have one radio station
Yeah.
called GBC.
Yes, sir.
And we had GBC 1 and
Yes,
GBC
sir.
2.
Yes, sir.
And you could only listen to 2 radio channels, all right?
Yeah.
I need to ask you a question before
Yes.
the end of the show today. Go. Keep
All right.
going.
And the kind of music in Sempi, that kind of music used to play around lunchtime.
Yes.
So I remember the kind of food I was eating every time I hear that song.
You're kidding.
It gives me memories. Anyway, but that was the kind of music. But what you've done is you've actually, like you're saying, you've taken something out of the box and you've made it relevant to this day. You know what? Let's just check out this video. It's a video called Insempi, which means issues. And let's try and look at the reaction of the people at that concert. Let's watch this video.
I am somebody. Things are not the same anymore. Crystal sweet, I am somebody. Say, things are not the same anymore. Crystal sweet, I am somebody. Oh, things are not the same anymore. Crystal sweet, I am somebody. 15 ways to be successful. 13 ways to make much money. But the one way to make to heaven, preacher man, you don't preach about it. Listen, last Sunday I heard you preach. I must confess, I was confused. Was that church or Gimpa? Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na. 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 Not the same anymore. Crystal sweet, I am some say things are not the same anymore. RPPPP, the target for the next harvest. For how else can we buy the preacher's dream car? Yet in the same church we've got Mr. Abuaji, who can't even afford a 3-square meal. Things are not the same anymore. The sheep is being slaughtered for the shepherd. Ow!
You're welcome back.
Welcome back, and that was Koda they're doing in Sempi, which means issues, and you can see, people were really enjoying it. And the interesting thing is how they actually just started